Hello students, today we will do question number 13 of textual exercise. It is the continuation of question number 12. The values of two spheres are given, QA and QB, whose value is 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb, and they are separated by 50 centimeter, which can be converted into meter. 50 minus 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Now, the values of both the charge is same. So, the solution or the answer becomes easier instead of if we have a different values. Now, let us see what we have to find. The two spheres are separated by a distance of 50 centimeter. And the third uncharged identical sphere C is kept in contact with A, first with A and second with, again it is removed from A, and that is it, then it is kept in contact with B, and you have to find out the new force of interaction. So we find out the initial force of interaction. Now this is sphere A having a charge QA. This is sphere B having a charge QB. Distance is measured from center to center. So this distance is R or 50 centimeter. Now since the value is same, it becomes easier for us to do the calculation. So here QA is equal to QB. Let us take the value Q. Therefore, or according to Coulomb's law, the force F is equal to K Q square. So QA, QB are equal upon R square. So this is our equation number 1. We substitute these values. The value of K is known to us. The value of Q is known to us. The value of R is also given. So you find out this value, which is left as an exercise for you. You substitute all this value and find out F. Now this is the first step. Now in second step, this sphere A is kept in contact with sphere C. It is given both the spheres are identical. Both the spheres are identical and sphere C is uncharged. So this A has a charge of QA, which we have taken as Q. C has uncharged. Now this is clearly an example of charging by conduction. So transfer of the charges will take place from one sphere to the another sphere. And when we separate it, because they are identical, both the spheres should have equal amount of charge. They distribute the total charge equally among them. So initial charge, so this is this A has Q charge, C has 0 charge. So total charge of system is equal to Q plus 0, that is Q. Now C is separated from A. So after separation, sphere A will have half of this, that is Q by 2, and the sphere C will also have a charge Q by 2. So we have divided these two charge equally among them, and as we have studied, both the charge should be identical. Here one was uncharged. If it is charged, then you do the total summation and divide it by 2. If they have a different radius or different dimension, then we will see in chapter 2 how the charge will be distributed. Now A have Q by 2, C has Q by 2. In the third part, they have given that this C is now kept in contact with B. So B has a charge of Q. B has a charge of Q. C has a charge of Q by 2. So again we do the total charge of the system is equal to Q plus Q by 2. Q plus Q by 2. So it comes out to be 3Q by 2. It comes out to be 3Q by 2. Now, sphere C is separated from B. So when we separate this B and C, what we have to do? Both are identical again. So this charge should be divided by 2. So each sphere will get a charge of 3Q by 4, 3Q by 4. What I have done is, I have divided this into equal parts. So now B has a charge of 3Q by 4 and A has a charge of Q by 2. Now C is removed away and A and B are kept at the same separation. So now A will have Q by 2. Let this value be a QA dash. And B has a value of QB dash is equal to 3Q by 4. Now this B and C all are removed. And now B is kept at a distance R from A. Now new force of interaction. So new force of interaction. So it is F dash. So F dash is equal to K QA dash QB dash upon R square. Again we substitute this value. This is equal to K. QA dash is Q by 2. QB dash is 3Q by 4 divided by R square. So this can be written as 3KQ square, 4 2s are 8, 8R square. Let this equation be 3. Now if I want to find out the value, I have a K value, Q is given, that is 6.52, and R is also given. So you find out the new value. Or in MCQ, we have to find out the relation between the new force and the initial force. Now if I take a ratio of equation 3 and equation 1, clearly this is KQ square upon R square is your F. So taking ratio of equation 1 and equation 3, F dash upon F is equal to 3 by 8. So we take the ratio, or directly KQ square upon R square can be written as F. So final force of interaction F dash is 3 by 8 times the initial force. Initial force you have found here in equation 2. Substitute this value what you have found here, you will get a new value F dash. I am keeping this again as an exercise, this much Newton. So this is our simple example question number 13 of textual exercise. Now let us see question number 14. Again it is MCQ based. The electric field lines are given in the downward direction. So this is a one plate which is positively charged. This plate is negatively charged. So electric field lines are from positive to negative charge. So we have drawn downward the field lines. Three particles named 1, 2 and 3 enter this region of uniform electric field with constant horizontal velocity. We have to find out the sign of the three charges, which charge is positive or which is negative, and which particle has highest Q by M ratio. So simply you have to give the two answers. Now it is clear that the particle 1 which entered with a horizontal velocity or horizontal speed, it has to move straight. This is shown by a dotted line. Instead of this, or due to the presence of the field, this particle has been deflected towards the positive plate. Now which particle will attract towards the positive plate? It should be a negative charge. So a particle should be negative, or thus its sign should be negative. Similarly, particle 2 which has to move in a straight line has been deflected again in the upward direction, that is it moved towards the positive plate or it moved away from the negative plate. So again particle 2 should also be negatively charged particle. Particle 3, it has moved towards the negative plate, so it should have a positive charge. So it is very simple to determine the sign of the charges. Again it says which particle has highest Q by M ratio. We will discuss about this Q by M ratio in our exercise only. We have some related to this. For the time being, what we have to remember, this dotted line is a original path the particle has to follow, but due to the presence of the field it has been deflected. This deflection from its original path is called the deflection of the particle, which is generally denoted by y1 because it is moving in the vertical direction upward. Deflection of particle 2, let us denote it by y2, and the deflection of third particle, that is y3. So y1, y2, y3 will be called deflection. We will prove that the deflection of the particle is directly proportional to Q by M ratio, charge of the particle divided by its mass. For the time being, we will see from the figure which particle has a maximum deflection. So clearly y3 is greater than y1 and y2. So we have to simply name which particle has the highest Q by M ratio. Though we will prove this, the formula of deflection, we have to find out the formula of deflection in the coming exercise. So we will do that numerical. We simply give this answer here. Particle 1 and particle 2 are deflected towards positive plate. So particle 1 and particle 2 are negatively charged particle. So this is an MCQ based question, but it comes in theory, then we have to write this. Similarly, you can write the particle 3 is deflected towards the negative plate, so it should be positively charged particle. I am not writing this theory again, simply I am writing directly answer. Particle 3 should be positively charged, particle. This is the first part answer. Then the second part is which particle has highest Q by M ratio. For the time being, I am directly writing the answer. We know deflection Y is directly proportional to Q by M. We have not proved, but for the time being we are learning that the deflection should be directly proportional to Q by M. Here deflection of particle 3 is maximum, or is maximum, so Q by M ratio of particle 3 is more. So this is our theory for example number or exercise textual question 14. Now we will see example number 15 exercise. Now what is given? The electric field is 3 into 10 raised to 3 I Newton per Coulomb. Now clearly the direction of the field, electric field is along the x-axis. We have to find out the flux through square of length 10 centimeter placed in YZ plane. Again, it is a direct application of the formula flux. And the second part is find out the flux when the square makes an angle 60 degree with the x-axis. So orientation of the square is given. In the first part, square is oriented in YZ plane, and in second, the square is oriented making an angle 60 degree with the x-axis, where the electric field is along the x-axis. So for the first part, let us say this is a uniform electric field which is represented by the lines parallel to each other and equidistant, which indicate the uniform electric field intensity. So electric field intensity is along the x-axis, which is shown in the figure. Now we have to place a square in YZ plane. So I put a square, though it seems like a rectangle, but let us assume it is a square. Now this portion is our y-axis and this portion is our z-axis. So it is like this. The electric field intensity is along the x-axis, this is x-axis, and the square, this is square, it is oriented in YZ plane. So this is our z-axis coming outward and this is your y-axis. Now the field is along the x-axis. Now clearly we know that we have to take out the area vector, and area vector is always perpendicular to the plane. So here the plane of the square is like this. If I take out the area vector, I can take out it along the x-axis or along the negative x-axis. Because the field is along the x-axis, I am taking a small element which we have discussed and let its area vector be delta S vector. So clearly the angle between this delta S or our area vector, which is along the x-axis, is in the direction of the electric field. So we know the flux formula is, the flux is equal to E vector dot delta S vector. This was our definition of electric flux. Electric flux is the number of field lines passing through a unit area held normal. Because electric field is given in the form of unit vector or in the term of a direction, I can remove the dot either by taking the dot product of these two quantities or by putting an angle between these two quantities. Here it is clear that the angle is 0. So I can also write E delta S cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So it will be E means magnitude, into delta S, which will be the magnitude of the area of a square. Here the length is given, we will find out the area. Or I can write electric field can be written as E I cap dot delta S. Delta X direction is also along the x-axis. So delta S can be written as magnitude. Any vector can be written as magnitude with its direction. So its direction is also I cap. Now I cap dot I cap, that is 1. So it comes out to be E delta S. This is the flux linked with a small element. Now I have to find out the total flux. I have to do its summation. So total flux is equal to electric field 3 into 10 raised to 3 and the delta S, the entire area, that will be L square. So this will be equal to 3 into 10 raised to 3 into the length of the square is 10 centimeter, area is L square. So 10 into 10 into, we have to convert it into meter, so that is 10 raised to minus 4. So it becomes 3 into, so 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 1 5, 5 minus 4, 10 raised to 1. So this is flux whose units becomes Newton per coulomb meter square, or it is 30 value, or you write 3 into 10 raised to 1 Newton coulomb per meter, Newton per coulomb meter square. So this is a simple application of the formula of a flux. Now in the second part, again this square makes an angle of 60 degree with the x-axis. So second part, again I draw the electric field lines which is fixed along the x-axis. So this is your x-axis. Now electric field intensity is making an angle of 60 degree. So now this was held like this in first diagram. Now I move it in such a way that area vector is always perpendicular to the plane. It should be always perpendicular to the plane. So it will go downward. Electric field is along x-axis. So it is like electric field is along x-axis, area vector is perpendicular to the plane, and this angle becomes 60 degree. So this is my direction of field. Let us take this small element which we call area element delta S vector, and it makes an angle 60 degree. This is my E vector. Again using the same formula, flux can be written as E dot S. Because the question is in the terms of angle, I will write this as E delta S cos of 60 degree, which is half. So E delta S by 2, cos 60 is half. E delta S is found here, divided by 2, that is half of it. The answer will be 1.5 into 10 raised to 1 or 15 Newton per coulomb meter square. So let this symbol be phi dash instead of phi, because we have given this symbol phi total here. So phi total here will be half of this if the square makes an angle 60 degree. Now come to the 16th question. It is continuation of 15. Now in the place of a square, which is a plane means 2 dimensions, we have to keep a cube in the same field. Cube is 3-dimensional figure. So again I draw for this the uniform electric field lines which is along x-axis. Now I place a cube in it. So this is my cube. This is the cube inclined. Now you have to find out the electric flux through this tube. Now if you remember, you have studied in the theory that if we place any three-dimensional object, the flux linked with it is 0, and at that time I directly said whatever amount of field lines enter from one side, same amount comes out from the other side. So if I want to count a number, though we don't count a number, we see the density of the field lines. Here still I count a number 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 field lines enter from one side, 4 field lines comes out from the other side. So total flux linked with this will be 0. Now we will prove it. Earlier we have directly learned this, the flux should be 0. Now there are 6 phases. How many phases the tube has? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1 backward. That is backward force. That is the phase, which is the 6 phase object. Now clearly, if I take the upper phase, say this upper phase, so its area vector should be in the y-axis. Electric field is along x-axis. So flux linked should be equal to E S cos 90. So this phase will not contribute. Similarly, if I take this bottom phase, again the electric field intensity is along negative y-axis, angle is 90 degree. Whenever it makes an angle 90, the flux should be 0 because cos 90 is 0. Similarly, if I take this front phase, the area vector comes out along the z-axis. Again it makes an angle 90 degree with E. So the flux linked with this phase will also be 0. Similarly, the phase which is at the back. So we have only 2 phases left. One is this phase. Let us dark this so you can easily see it. Let us name this phase as 1 and this phase of a cube to be a second phase. So we will deal with this 2 phase. The other 4 phase contribute nothing to the flux. So we will also prove that the flux comes out to be 0. So first we mentioned that the flux linked with the cube, flux linked with means the number of field lines passing through the cube. The flux linked with the cube have contribution only from phase 1 and phase 2 as shown in figure. The flux linked with the cube due to other phases will be 0. Bracket, we will mention the angle between delta S vector and E vector is pi by 2 radian. If you are not able to see, I am repeating this. It is angle between delta S and E comes out to be pi by 2. So the flux contribution is 0. So we are left with only 2 phases, 1 and 2. Let phi 1 be the flux linked with the phase 1 of cube. Flux linked means the number of field lines passing through that phase. So if I can count it, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines are passing through this phase. Though we are not counting the number of lines, we need to always see the density of the field line. Now I have to take the area vector of this. Clearly, this phase 1 should have an area vector coming out from this phase or plane. So it should be along the negative x-axis. Inside you cannot go and take the area vector inside. So it is the and this is a box or a cubical box. So we cannot take area vector inside it. So the area from this face outward will be along the negative x-axis. And for that face number 2, the area vector should be along the x-axis. So I take this area vector of face 1, let us name it delta S1, and for this it will be radially outward, that is delta S2. So let phi1 be the flux linked with face 1 of the cube, then phi1 can be written as general formula E dot delta S, that is E delta S cos of 180 degree, or let us write it in radian cos pi. So either I write it as a E1I dot S1 minus I also, let this be your S1. So both are in opposite direction, or the angle is 180, cos 180 is minus 1. So E delta S1 say. Now, okay, since it is a cube, the face are identical. So let us remove this subscript S1 and S2, sorry. The area of this face will be the square only. So this face is square, this face is also a square, they are identical. So delta S symbol we take. Now this is equation number 1. Similarly, again you write this theory. For second phase I take a flux phi 2 directly, not writing the theory again. So it becomes E dot delta S again. So it is E delta S cos of 0. So cos 0 is again 1. It comes out to be E delta S. That is our equation number 2. We have to find out the total flux. So total flux should be the summation of the flux linked with the two faces. So total flux linked with Q, phi is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2. So it comes out to be minus E delta S plus E delta S. So phi comes out to be 0. So accordingly, the flux linked with the cube is 0, or directly I can write whatever number of field enter from one side, the other number of same number of field lines emerge out from the other side. So flux linked with the cube, or the flux associated with the cube, is 0. So this is how we prove. If you keep any object, three-dimensional object, in a uniform electric field, the flux will be 0, not necessarily that it should have a proper geometrical shape. You can take any shape, three-dimensional object. If you take a proper shape, we can easily prove it. So if I take a sphere, I can prove it by drawing a small element. That we will see in the Gauss theorem or Gauss law. So this is what we have in example number 16. Now let us move to exercise question number 25. In between 17 to 24 we will do after completing our Gauss law. Now what is this experiment? In a Millikan experiment, the oil drop, we have any oil drop which have and 12 excess electron. It means the oil drop is negatively charged, and it is held stationary in a electric field whose magnitude is 2.55 into 10 raised to 4. Then the density of oil is given, the value of G is given, charge on electron is given. So a oil drop, suppose this is an oil drop, it has 12 I am not counting the number, it has 12 electrons. Now it is negatively charged and each electron have mass. So this drop will fall downward due to the gravitational force. Let the gravitational force is mg. Say me, E is the mass of electron, subscript E. Now it is given that this oil drop should be held stationary. Now when it will be held stationary? When the surface will have a negative charge. This side or at the bottom we have negative charge, so that there is a force of repulsion, or the top of it should have positive charge, so that there is a force of attraction. Then only it will be held stationary, otherwise it will fall downward due to the gravitational force. So you have to draw the direction of the field also, and it will be held stationary only when this force is equal to the force due to electric field. So I draw positively charged plate, or let the plate or upper portion be positively charged, and this, the bottom portion, should be negatively charged in order to hold the drop stationary. So we know the electric field line is from positive charge to negative charge. So this is the field. If direction is asked, the field should be in the downward direction. So you can say this negatively charged will give the force of repulsion, or the positive charge will give the force of attraction. It will attract the oil drop. Now E is given. Charge, we can find out the total charge. So electric field is E, then the electric force can be written as Q into E vector. It should be MEG. G is always vertically downward. If this two force becomes equal in magnitude, then only the oil drop will remain stationary. Now if it remains stationary, you have to find out the radius of the sphere. It is a spherical drop. So in theory we write, in figure, there are two forces acting on oil drop. Number one, MEG, that is the gravitational force, or you can say the weight of a object or a drop. Direction, we mention in bracket, vertically downward. The another force is Fe is equal to QE, that is electric force or Coulombian force. It should be vertically upward. So there are two forces. Now in order to keep this this drop to be stationary, the magnitude of both the forces should be equal and the direction should be opposite. Here drop is held stationary. It is possible only if magnitude of electric force and gravitational force are equal. So oil drop should not fall. It is only possible when these two magnitudes, these two force magnitudes are equal. That is, Fe is equal to Fg, G for gravitational force. So in the place of Fe, I write QE, magnitude only, directions are opposite, that we know from the diagram, or we have written gravitational force MEG. E is given to us. Q, there are 12 excess electrons. So quantization Ne. So Q is not a problem. G, that is given. Mass of the 12 electrons. But we have to find out the radius. Since the drop is spherical, mass can be written in the terms of volume and density. This we can know from the density, because the density is given. So I have to find out the R. Therefore, in the place of Q, I write Ne, quantization, capital E is equal to, mass can be written as density into volume into G, where Q is written as Ne, mass of electron is written as density into volume. Now, therefore, NEE is equal to density. Density is given, it is not a problem. Volume of a sphere. So density, volume of the sphere 4 by 3 pi r cube into G. Therefore, r cube is equal to 3 NEE upon 4 pi rho G. Now you see all the quantities are given. N is known 12, E charge on each electron, capital E given, density given, G given. So you substitute this value and this is r cube. Find out r. So whatever answer you get, take the cube root of it and that should be in the meter. So don't forget to take the cube root of your answer. Also remember, this density is in SI system. Is in CGS. You have to convert it in SI or a MK. So 1.26 into 10 raised to minus 3 kg centimeter cube. So 10 raised to minus 2 cube, that will be 10 raised to minus 6 meter cube. You do all this calculation, mathematical part, substitute all the values and check the answer. So you have to remember, if any drop is held having excess charge, whether it is negative charge or positive charge, and if it remain held in air or stationary, then the gravitational force should be equal to the electric force. Now if this has excess positive charge, we can reverse the field. The bottom part should be positively charged, so there is a force of repulsion, and upper part should be a negative charge, or you can say there is a force of attraction. So this is example number exercise question number 25. So we complete our today's lecture at this point. Have a good day.